Hey everybody, this is Peter. In this video segment, we're going to enable the anti-spam feature on an IronPort device. So, we're currently running the latest version, or close enough to the latest version, which is version 6.51-005. We're going to go ahead and log on with our admin username and password. I'll go ahead and type that out for you. And we'll hit login. Alright, so once we're in the box here, we'll actually go to Security Services, IronPort Anti-Spam. So let's pretend this box is, out of the gate, nothing's turned on. We've got an IP address and so on and so on. As you can see here, when we go to Security Services, IronPort Anti-Spam, anti-spam is currently disabled globally. So if we scroll across here, we can easily enable that by clicking the Enable button. And you'll see that we have the IronPort Anti-Spam scanning is now available to this appliance. Now, many of you might not know this. If you don't have an IronPort, if you're looking at getting one, you should know this. Whether you enable, create a rule, do whatever you want to do to an IronPort, nothing will actually save until you click that Commit Changes button on the top right there, which is actually pretty cool, because once you actually hit Commit Changes, what you're going to notice quickly is that you have excuse me, you now have the option to enter a comment of what you actually did. Now, we're not going to do it in this video, but if you're actually using IronPort in a live environment or in a live environment, you want to put a comment in here so that if administrators that are managing this box after you, or not even after you, the next day you're not around, administrator wants to take a peek at, they're troubleshooting something, wants to find out what was the last changes made to the device, they can actually go into the logs via the command line and look at your comments that you actually made. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to commit our changes. Now IronPort anti-spamming is now enabled on this box globally. We now want to enable it for our incoming mail policies. So we'll go to Mail Policies, Incoming Mail Policies, and you'll see our default policy is a one-liner that basically says anti-spam is disabled, antivirus is not available, content filters and virus outbreak filters are disabled. So what we need to do is actually click on the disabled word there, which is hyperlinked, and you'll see that we get this big page here of things that we can do. So in this policy, this line, we want to enable the selected anti-spam service. Now, you may ask, well, why do we need to select it? It's the only one. There was a time in IronPort's past where it actually supported other anti-spam services within the actual box. We won't get into that in this video because it doesn't really matter anymore, but if you are asking, that's why. Now you'll see we have the positively identified spam settings. So what do you want to do if something is deemed 100%, or 99.9% spam? Do we want to deliver it, send it to an alternate host? We can add text to the subject that says this is spam and deliver it. Now, most times when people do evaluations of IronPort devices, they actually use the deliver tab and then add a spam word to the header of the actual, or the subject, sorry, of the actual email. That's usually because a lot of people, when you're putting a box in line and it's affecting something as important and critical as email, you don't want to miss an email, so they do that for testing. In our case, we're going to go ahead and click on drop. If we know it's spam, get rid of it. Now for suspected spam, so stuff that looks like spam, might be spam, we're going to say deliver it and put that on the header, so suspected spam on the actual header. Now let's scroll down here. We have a few more settings that we can actually look at. You can use the default thresholds, or you can create your own custom settings for positively identified spam. In most cases, guys, IronPort, now Cisco, does a fantastic job of finding spam, whether it's positively identified or suspected. I would use the default thresholds, and if you really want to get, nitpicky about it, turn that stuff on later. But definitely evaluate the box, check out, and baseline it basically, check out what it does before you actually go customize it. So we click on submit, and after we click on submit, again, you're going to have to commit the changes like you did when you enabled the anti-spam feature. So now you'll see quickly before we commit the changes that on the default policy line you have IronPort anti-spam, positive drop, suspected deliver, as opposed to the disabled keyword that was there. So we'll go ahead, we'll commit it. Important again, put in a comment, commit the changes, and that's pretty much it, guys. That's how you enable IronPort anti-spam and then apply it to an incoming mail policy. Thanks very much for coming out. We'll definitely see you on the next one.